Hello everyone. The next topic which we will be covering now is threats and hotspot of the biodiversity. First we studied what is biodiversity, what are types of biodiversity, what are its values and what losses we are suffering. So now we are going to study the threats. What threats still exist to the biodiversity? So before studying that, I will just go through one survey which was conducted in 2006. Now this survey, it classified that many species are very rare or are on the verge of extinction if not taken care properly. In this survey they found out total there are 40,177 species. All these species were accessed, all the records were taken out, what are the uses, how they are using the species, what are the demands, and everything was included in that survey. Out of that they found out that a total of 16,119 species are on the verge of extinction. Then too, these factors are not being controlled. I don't know what will be the current ratio, because after 2006 there were many changes, population also increased. I guess a large amount of species might be extinct. So if I get the current ratio, I will share with you all. This was just an idea which was a survey which was conducted in 2006. So now we will start with what are the threats. There are three types of threats. The first one is the habitat loss, second one is poaching, and third one is man-wildlife conflict. So first one is the habitat loss. Habitat loss means what? Over here there is a loss of population, you can say, of animals or different plants or species, anything. Why there is a loss? I'll tell you all. Suppose let's take example of a human being. A person is very comfortable living in their house. Okay, a human being is living the way he wants to eat, the way he wants to sleep, the way he wants to eat, or whatever way of living is suggested. Whatever way of living is there, it depends upon the human only. Okay, and if somebody forcefully takes away that from you, you are living in a row house and someone forcefully takes your home and tell you to live on the roads, it will be possible for you? No. Why? Because you are habited to a particular system, and if that system is not there, then your survival will be difficult. The same way, animals are also having a way of living. A structure is there, they are following a pattern, they are comfortable to a particular area, and all those comfort they are having in the forest life. If that thing is forcefully being taken from them, they are going to suffer, yes or no? Yeah, they cannot speak, but even they are feeling the pain. What they are doing, then they become forest deforestation is there, they become homeless, where they roam. Then they roam on the streets. When they are roaming on the streets, they are not getting proper food, they are not getting producers, they are not getting other consumers, other animals on which they can prey. Then what they are doing, they are attacking human beings. So all this is a loop which is created by human itself. This is what actually a habitat loss is all about. This can be caused due to destruction, due to fragmentation, degradation, deforestation. All these are a threat, which is a threat to the survival of wildlife. Okay, so this category they comes under habitat loss. Now, what are the factors which are influencing? I have already explained. We'll just go through these points. The first one is deforestation. If we are clearing agricultural land and we are clearing the land, making agricultural project, then commercial projects, deforestation takes place. Where the animals will reside them if they are not having their homes? So this is the habitat loss. Second is destruction of wetlands. If wetlands are destroyed, where watershed management techniques, if they are not conducted, proper water supply is not available, or the water which is already there, if it is polluted, What is going to happen? The destruction of wetland will be there. If they are if they distinct, what will happen? Where the animals will get water. So this was second. Third is developmental activity. Development activities include constructions of dams. These are constructed in the forest. Then industrial influence. They are killing birds and aquatic organism. If the water supply, if harmful chemicals are released in the rivers or the water bodies which are present in the forest, again this will be a threat to the wildlife. Fourth is habitat fragmentation. Habitat means it is divided into small and scattered. So what is happening due to this fragmentation? When we are dividing, all the birds and animals which are living in that area, they are vanishing because the division is taking place by day, and the places which were very freely available to them, now the place becomes very smaller and smaller. So this also leads to extinction. Raw material. If we are using all the raw materials, then how the survival will be possible? There are many raw materials which we get through forest. Production of drugs. I have already told you all in the previous lecture that there are many medicinal plants available which are used as drugs, but those are again important for other animals which exist in the environment. If we are using, then what they are going to use, what they are going to get. This is also a cause of destruction. The next is illegal trade. Now, trade on wildlife. When there is trade on the wildlife, this is also reducing our biodiversity. So these were the factors which are influencing the habitat loss. Means a way of living, free way of living is basically taken away from the animals. Now next is poaching. I have again given one example of fishing. What this is what poaching all about. Poaching means killing or hunting of animal. There are two types. First one is the subsistence poaching. Second one is the commercial poaching. Subsistence poaching means we are killing the animals for surviving. Means non-vegetarians you can take. There are certain tribes. Okay, those tribes, they are entirely dependent on animal only for their survival. Okay, these tribes, they live near forest areas only. You can say they are rural tribes. They don't know how this environment works. They are very conservative and living in a very closed area, so they survive on these animals only. So due to that, what is happening? Extinction takes place. Second is commercial poaching. Commercial poaching means what? We are hunting animals, and from that people are earning money. We are hunting animal for selling, and after selling, what is happening? Economical means is generated. So that is the second one. Now the factors which are influencing poaching are as follows. First one is human population. It's common sense. If human population increases, there will be increase on the forest resource. There is a balance. You can say half people are vegetarian, half people are non-vegetarian. Okay, even vegetarians require natural forest resources, and also non-vegetarian requires forest resources. So what is happening over here? There is a pressure on forest resource. Second one is commercial activities. Means animals are being smuggled from one place to other countries, and they are getting a very good amount for that. Then third is wildlife products like horn, fur, then leather. Then many herbal products are being created through the wildlife products, through wildlife. All these products are what? They are created by hunting animals only. Again, this is poaching. Fourth one is importers of wildlife. Importers of wildlife, these means they are importing wildlife from countries like Europe, North America, Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, etc. These are the factors which are influencing poaching. Certain examples over here we have studied till now. What is poaching? Example means what body parts or what particular animal has important substance. Due to which large amount of money can be generated. Now male gorilla is used for its body parts. There is a blue morpho butterfly. These butterfly are used for making attractive trays, and you all know the cost are very high of these types of these type of materials which are generated from these animals. They are very costly. Then snowy large egret. Yeah, over here the white feathers are used, and these white feathers are used in ladies hat. You'll not find it over here in India, but US culture they are having these types of hat. Elephant feet is used for making ashtrays. Elephant is used for ivory. Then Bengal tiger is sold for a very large amount in foreign countries. Bengal tigers are having are traded to other countries, and they are generating ample amount of money. Then dynamite fishing. Over here high-tech fishing is there. Due to this, what is happening? The marine life is disturbed, and seahorses are fishing is done for seahorses, sea turtles. So here the wildlife marine life is disturbed, and even these are traded for a very high amount. The last factor is man wildlife conflict. Now in man wildlife conflict there are certain factors which are responsible. Those factors are as follows. First one is shrinking of forests compel wildlife to move outside the forest. As earlier explained, if deforestation takes place, where animals will move? They are going to move outside only, in the residential area only, so it is threat for human beings. Then electric wiring around the crops. When electric wiring is there, it also a very it is also a very dangerous thing for animals roaming over there, because they don't know wiring is there. Your humans know, but many animals they get shocked due to this. Then third is animals suffer pain and attack humans. When all this points takes place, animals suffer, and when animals suffer, what they'll do? They'll attack human only for their survival. Okay. For female wildlife attack human more to save its cubs. Female mother of a cub, they are attacking whom? They are attacking humans. Why they are attacking human? In anger, in order to save the child. Forest department, they are not cultivating food for the wild. This is also a very bad thing. Okay, then cash compensation by the government, 400 per quintal, but market price is 2,400. Over here also there is a difference. What the actual rate given by government is something, but when it comes to human and when it goes to the market, the rate changes. And one more last point over here is that garbage near human settlement attract wildlife. They are not getting proper food. We are throwing garbage outside. So this thing, they attract animals, and animal feed on them, and then they die due to consuming of dangerous substance. They die. Plastic when they are consuming. So this is a bad effect. Over here certain examples I have given. First one is this incident took place in Sambalpur in Orissa, where 195 humans were killed by elephants. Okay, and in retaliation, in revenge, you can say what happened. 98 elephants were killed, and in this fight 30 were injured by the villagers. Then in Mysore, sugarcane and cotton crop explosives was done. Royal Chitwan National Park, Kathmandu, over there tiger killed 16 Nepalis and 4 years child. Sanjay Gandhi National Park, Mumbai, over here leopards they killed 14%. All these things are taking place because in anger, for retaliation, for revenge, because their lifestyle, their home is disturbed. So what they are doing, they are taking revenge in other format. It is not a revenge, it is a frustration, because these animals are not getting proper food to eat, proper water supply is not there. So what they becomes frustrated, and whatever thing they see first they attack. So it is a basic nature, you can say. All these were the threats of biodiversity. biodiversity. The first part was threats of biodiversity that we have already covered. The second part now which we are going to study is hotspot. So before explaining what a hotspot actually is, let me tell you all one thing. Biodiversity, it is a collection of flora and fauna. Flora means a region which consists of variety of species of plant, and fauna is a region which consists of animals. When they are together combined, it is termed as biodiversity. This is also a type of definition of biodiversity. Now why I am explaining you all this? In order to explain what is hotspot actually. Hotspot is a region, you can say, or a prime location which is rich in biodiversity. Means it is a location which is rich in number of plants, in different species of plants, and also rich in species of animals. This is the first part. And second is, it also has a threat of destruction. Then and only then it is called as hotspot. Again I am repeating, hotspot can be hotspot only when it is rich in biodiversity, but it is also having a threat of destruction. When these two terms are combined together, then it is called as hotspot. Now you all know there are 200 richest and rarest natural areas present in the world. These areas are termed as global 200. Why riches are? Because you all know one thing, that biodiversity is evenly spread on the earth. It is not like that only one part of the earth you will find. Biodiversity is all over the earth. So certain places are there which are very rich in biodiversity, and that were termed as hotspot. Now, how this survey was done? This was identified by a person, Norman Mayers, in 1988. When, in order to understand that about deep understanding about species, which area is more prominent in species, a survey was conducted, and all this statistics, what it led to? It led to the concept of hotspot. This person, he found out that maximum amount of biodiversity it exists in tropical forest. We all know tropical forest is rich in greenery, so only these are the areas which hotspots are included. A total of 2.3% of the earth's land is hotspot. Okay, so this was what a hotspot all about. A place can be hotspot only on two conditions, and those conditions are: first one, it should comprise of at least 1500 vascular plants or vascular species. 1500 vascular species means what? A 0.5% of the total world's plant. If a region is having 0.5% of the total earth's plant, then it can be hotspot. And second point should be, it should have all these species, but also it should face destruction. Means that region must be threatened or under the threat of destruction. When these two conditions are fulfilled, then only that area can be called as hotspot. Once again, I'll repeat in short: 0.5% of the total plants of the earth when included in one region, and also that region is facing the threat of destruction, together can be termed as a hotspot. You all know that total 35 areas are marked as hotspot throughout the world, and out of that, India is having 4 regions called as hotspot. 4 regions in India. India is very much rich in terms of biodiversity. There are 4 regions which are included in India which are hotspot. These regions I'll just go through. Before that, let me tell you all, it is a survey which includes total of the species which are present in India. This survey showed how many species exist in India. So first, you all know 350 mammals exist. I'm talking about world's ratio throughout the world species. Out of that, 350 mammals are included, which makes it 7.6%. 1224 birds exist in India, that comprises of 2.6%. 197 amphibians are there, that makes up to 4.4% of the world's total species. These ratios which I am talking, this are in terms of world's species. Okay, 408 reptiles they exist, which makes up to 6.2% of world species. 2546 fishes exist in India, which makes up to 11.7%, and 15,000 flowering plants exist in India, that is the 6% of the total world's percentage. Okay, so these were the just ratio of what different types of species and what are the percentage which exist in India. I have already mentioned that there are 4 hotspots which are present in India. Those hotspots are as follows. The first one is the Western Ghats and Sri Lanka. Now these are the hills that are present along the western edges of the peninsular India. Okay, now these are situated near the ocean area, so they receive a good amount of rainfall. If they are receiving good amount of rainfall, then you all know that the forest area will be evergreen area and large amount of species exist over there. Greenery will exist over there. So this is the first hotspot. The second hotspot is the Eastern Himalayas. Now this region, it comprises of Bhutan, Northeast India, Southern, Central and Eastern Nepal. These Himalayan mountains, they also include the highest peak like K2 and Mount Everest. Some of the rivers are also originated near the from the Himalayas. So that is why Eastern Himalayas, they come under rich biodiversity areas. So this is the second one. The third one is the Indo-Burma. Now this region, it consists of numerous countries. It includes northeastern India, which includes a part of Brahmaputra river, Myanmar, China's Yunnan provinces, okay, then Vietnam, Thailand. This area, it is spread over a distance of 200 million square kilometers. So the northeastern India, it includes the Brahmaputra river. This is the one which is very much rich in diversity. So that is why it is included in one of the hotspot. The last one is Sundaland. Now this region, it lies in the Southeast Asia. It includes Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, Brunei and Malaysia. The part which is represented in India, it is the Nicobar Islands. These islands, they were declared as the biosphere reserve, means reserve which is very precious and consists of different species rich in biodiversity by United Nations in 2013. It means that in 2013 they did a survey. Statistics were found out that Nicobar Island is a very rich in biodiversity or taking care of these species. So it was awarded at that time. So these were the 4 hotspots which is present. So you can say it is a very proud thing. Even if we remove the concept of destruction or careless attitude, everything, the throughout the world there are 35 hotspots. Out of that, 4 hotspots are included in India. It is a very good thing, and we hope that it continues to remain in the hotspot category. So these was hotspot. What are the categories of hotspot? Then we'll move to the next topic.